For once, researchers in KNUST, in Ghana, and the sub-region as a whole can start to dream. Right now, you are not limited by the absence of equipment. So in times past, usually whatever project you decide to do, you are limited by the fact that, can I do all my analysis in this country, in my lab, in my school? Those are issues that plague researchers. But currently, the equipment that are there, they are all functioning, they are state of the art. You can find those equipment, they are comparable to any equipment you can find in any of the big universities anywhere in the world. So the idea of a central lab it's a brainchild of the Vice Chancellor, Professor William Otuelis. And what he thought of was that instead of individual departments trying to buy equipment to do their research, equipment that they couldn't afford sometimes, it would be better if we could put all those equipments which have which have applications in various disciplines at one central facility where everybody can come and use it. In that way, the cost for each department comes down because it's at a central facility, and so that was the idea. So there are equipment over here that spans both the basic and applied sciences. So people in chemistry, in biology, biochemistry, food science and technology, in the medical school, people in pharmacy, in agric, they all have equipment over here that they can use to do the work that they are involved in. In actual fact, the liquid chromatograph mass spectrometer that we have is the only one in the sub-region. The whole of West Africa is the only one that exists over here. In addition to the facilities in this block, we have other satellite labs where some of the equipment are located. So when you go to the Department of Horticulture in the Faculty of Agric, there is a greenhouse that sits over there, and the greenhouse permits you to be able to control the conditions for growing your plant. We have students who are doing their master's degree that use this lab. People doing their PhDs use this lab. So the students can either be from KNUST or from other universities in Ghana. So we have students from the University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, University for Development Studies, all coming over here to do some work. We also have students coming from outside Ghana within the sub-region. And so a couple of weeks ago, we had about 5 requests from students in Nigeria who wanted to come and characterize their compounds right here at the KNUST Central Lab. Apart from academia, people in industry also use this place. So Goldfields Limited, for instance, are trying to look at the presence or absence of heavy metals in their soil samples at the places where they operate. And so they came over here to use our atomic absorption spectrophotometer for that work. And so people in industry, in academia, and people who are the regulatory bodies. So the Environmental Protection Agency, for instance, does some work over here. The Food and Drugs Board, the Ghana Standards Authority, they all use this place. So the lab charges, there are lab charges for using equipment over here. The reason is so that we can maintain the equipment that we have over here, because one of the problems in Africa is that people are unable to maintain the equipment that they have. So we need to be able to maintain our equipment so that this nice shiny equipment that you see here today, they do not become obsolete in a couple of years. For Africa to develop, it's important that we are able to answer questions that are related, are peculiar to Africa. We have to answer, or we have to solve African problems. And to do that, we need state-of-the-art equipment. And so KNUST have taken the lead, and I believe every university in Ghana, in Africa, should follow this lead.
Collaboration is the way to go. If you are hiding in a corner somewhere, doing something small there, you will not get far.
The Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research is a faculty of University of Ghana. The institute's mandate is to conduct research into both infectious and also non-communicable disease. Our focus over the years has been with regards to endemic diseases in Ghana and also other parts of Africa. Our postdoctoral program, which is funded by the Gates Foundation, is to train the next generation of PhD holders from Africa who are entering into their career in science. And the idea is to make sure that they are well equipped to be able to face the various challenges that we see in Africa, especially in the area of infectious disease. We've been able to enroll a total of 11 fellows since the inception of the program, and out of these, 2 of them have completed their program and they've been employed in some institutions in Ghana. The program is an African-wide program, so we enroll fellows from all parts of Africa. At the moment, we have fellows from Cameroon, from Kenya, from Senegal, and of course, Ghana.
I am working on medicinal plants that has been used by the local communities in Ghana to treat disease conditions with symptoms related to upper respiratory tract problems. So I'm linking up with botanists from the Center for Scientific Research in Plant Medicine who are assisting me in field collection of the identified plant species. Now, following collection of these plant species, I am drawing the parts that have been shown to be used against conditions with symptoms of tuberculosis. Once I get these crude extracts, then I am using them for in vitro evaluation of antimicrobial activity. Now, this far I have evaluated over 50 plant species against 6 mycobacterial strains, and out of these, 3 plants have shown quite interesting activity, and I'm focusing towards further interrogating these plants for lead compounds with activity against intracellular, active, and latent tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is considered to be a disease of the poor, mainly localized in the developing world, so many pharmaceutical companies are shying away from investing their resources towards drug discovery. So if you look at literature, not many studies have been conducted in this part of the world are focusing on the activity of the locally used medicinal plants against Mycobacterium tuberculosis.
I think we've realized in Africa that most of the PhD holders just join research groups in universities or research institutions just after their PhD. And as we all know elsewhere, you need that sort of period to get further training or better equipped to be able to write proposals, to be able to have the right leadership to conduct your own research. So we felt this postdoctoral program is very, very important for young PhD holders in Africa.
A postdoc fellowship gives you an opportunity to look at research from another perspective. It is not aimed towards contributing to knowledge, but once again to innovation. Yeah, bringing about generating innovative ideas, bringing about a product to the market which can be commercialized. And it also trains you on how you can manage your grant. So you also acquire a lot of skills in grant writing. And this is an aspect which is not inculcated in the minds of doctoral students. In my view, it is the right way to go for African scientists if we are going to compete.
The program has in place a system to integrate these young scientists back into their institutions in their various countries. We are also hoping that we'll be able to offer them some sort of seed money or seed funds so that they will be able to start up some research, in their various institutions.
So what I am currently doing is not ending with the end of my postdoc fellowship. I'm looking forward towards long-term collaborations with my mentors and my colleagues at Nongushi. Yeah, this should continue beyond the postdoctoral time, which will be ending in March next year. This will continue. In fact, we are evaluating such avenues where we can be sending students to my lab in Nairobi, and I can also be sending students in a collaborative partnership to the labs in Nongushi.
We are struggling as a country because a lot of attention is not being paid to research. We believe that all our problems should be solved for us by somebody else. Most of these things are done in highly sophisticated laboratories overseas. So if you can sit here within the constraints of our equipment and we're able to come out of this, a little assistance can push us to the level where we can solve all our problems.
The university trains people to look for the minerals, to find best ways to extract them, and also to get the mineral as close to its, I would say, 100% value. It is important that the problems of the mining industry, we are able to solve it as an institution. And so we needed the manpower to be able to get to grips with some of the challenges of the mining industry. Hence, we had to start the MSc program.
The master's program and the PhD program that is done in UMaT here was established because of that purpose, that the mine would just send their problems to the school, and the school will give it to the students, the MSc students, to work on as their research work.
The masters, I would say 70–80% of them are already in industry. They use the masters as an opportunity to solve problems. The research topic will normally be framed around some problem on the field. And so there's quite that good industry relationship from that perspective.
One exciting area is in the utilization of waste materials into iron making. What we do is simply to get the plastics and then recover what is known as carbon and hydrogen. These are the basic elements that are used in the reduction of iron oxide to produce metallic iron. The exciting thing about this project is that in the conventional way of producing iron from iron oxide, the metallurgical coke that is used consists mainly of carbon. And when carbon does the reduction of iron oxide, it produces carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. Because hydrogen is also part of the waste plastics, and hydrogen is a faster reductant than carbon. When the reduction takes place, hydrogen is able to react with iron oxide and it produces water vapor instead of the carbon dioxide. So we are able to minimize considerably the amount of carbon dioxide that is generated into the atmosphere. So this technology is said that one, we are able to deal with the plastic menace. That's the first thing. The second, it offers us a hope as far as our decision to produce our own iron from our own iron oxide resources. Now, this technology can also come in because we have done a lot of work. We have published extensively in the area of bauxite upgrading. What we do is simple. We go through just about the same process as the iron making process. The bauxite then is upgraded. Currently, work we have done so far has revealed that we are able to upgrade the bauxite from about 45% to about 87%, which is a huge improvement. Now, if you were to think of the fact that you buy bauxite from Ghana at $30 per a certain unit, and that same bauxite is being sold at 10 times the original price, then I think it is important that we add value to the bauxite that we produce in Ghana. Because it moves from $30 only through a simple upgrading process, then the $30 will shoot up to $300. And then if somebody were to take it up, because at 80% it's still not pure alumina, you need to do further work. All this work can be done in Ghana. And we have demonstrated in our lab that even at this simple stage, we are able to convert it from 45 to about 87%.
We have actually established a Department of Environmental and Safety Engineering to find means and ways to remediate whatever environmental damage that mining, both large scale and especially small scale mining, is doing to the country. And so we try to see how best we can do away with mercury, for example. So some of our staff have come up with a direct smelting method, which United Nations Environment Program, have rated very highly indeed. They've completely taken out mercury from the chain of processing. That is one research that the university has done very successfully.
So occasionally we get funding from industry. It comes, but not maybe in the manner we expect. If we want to expand, first we want to increase enrollment of PhD students, because that is where the core of the research is done. And then what will enable us to be able to do that is to increase the research equipment we have. And I think this will call for some funding.
I wish we would see more PhD researchers in the geoscience arena. If you have more of them, we'll come to a point where they will see the need for Ghana to process its own mineral resources. In fact, we have a lot of natural resources that are untapped, especially from the Volta region. And I want to see that dream fulfilled. I want to see it come to pass, where we'll mine our own gold, diamond, process everything in Ghana here, not to send it or export it somewhere, and then they will bring us the refined one. The refined one, value will be added to it, and we have to buy it back very expensive. We'll go nowhere. But I wish one day, if they desire, Ghana will process its own mineral resources.
Let it go. But when you want to really, really do your work, you should be able to QC, sit down, make sure that you find. You can put in one context as brain drain, but you put in another context as a useful venture, because I went to a very top school and I'm teaching in a very top school. So I'm using all the experience that I've gotten and bringing them here. I did my first degree at KNUST and did my PhD at Georgia Tech, the US. After getting my PhD, I got a job offer from Duke right away, and I've been at Duke ever since. The history is long. With engineering, it started probably 5 years ago, when I thought that I could also use some of my engineering expertise to help the College of Engineering at KNUST. I helped to set up an MSc program that really integrates all forms of engineering into one perspective, using geophysics as a tool to help solve some of the engineering problems. I supervise about 2 PhD students. There's a research program that I also help to develop, trying to look at the environmental hazards for the auto mechanics workers in Ghana.
I'm doing my master's in geotechnical engineering, and that's what I'm doing, is trying to use the dipole array to detect cavity in the laboratory. It's going to be used mostly probably in the highways for pavement engineering. The purpose of the project is to apply geophysics into tackling environmental issues. Geophysics is a new technique being employed in Ghana. After my MSc, I plan to get a job, work, get some experience, and probably later on do my PhD. It's sensitive and it's... Prof. Fred Boadu is very approachable. Anytime you call on him, whatever you are facing, whether he's here in Ghana or even in the US, when you call on him for any difficulty you're having with your project or assignment, he's ever ready to teach you or make you understand. It's a privilege because he tries to blend what he teaches over there with the local method here, and we get also access to technology.
I think these days every university wants to go global, especially for us in Africa and in Ghana especially. So usually whilst we link up with the professors or colleagues who left here some time ago, it gives us that collaborative edge. So we are able to collaborate with them in terms of research and other things, because obviously where they are, they have a little bit better facilities there, and the funding there for research is also good. Professor Fred Boadu brings a lot of experience. You know, he is more experienced in the geophysics with respect to engineering applications and the environment. And you can see the guys are quite encouraged when they see somebody from Duke teaching a model here on a course here. So it motivates the students. And we are also learning a few things, you know. We are still young men, so we need to pick one or two things from him.
I think it's a very important program, and how it's going to help project the university as a whole is something that I think is quite durable. I think they should try and get the right people, because there has been numerous occasions where some people come and it may not be right. So, for instance, you know, they are very good, able lecturers here who teach, for instance. So you don't want to come and duplicate what people do, but you want to have an added-on value. So, and that being, you know, if you do research and you think that you can even streamline the research in a way that they can use localized materials, so somebody in that realm is really, really zooming in and making an impact. But if you just ad hocly pick people to come, it won't make any difference. There's a student that I brought from here, KNUST, who graduated from here, and I brought him to Duke. And I did a PhD with me, and at Duke, he was one of the top students. He did very, very well. So the same product from here, when you go outside, do excel. But I think the difference is the motivation, the challenge, and the resources. But otherwise, I think things are fine. The past deans and the provosts are doing a fantastic job in setting up and moving the college forward. So that is what really encourages us to come and help more, you know, so that I think people have sacrificed and put a lot of effort. So we all have to come in and chip in and do what we can do.
As a farmer, I want to ask you whether this thing are true. We are Africans, we understand our terrain more. If people who are not from Africa come to Africa perhaps to do research, they may have the peripheral understanding of the underlying factors. But because we are in Africa, working in Africa, we seem to relate more with the situation on ground than people coming from outside Africa to carry out research. And we will be in a better position to tell the story.
That if the rain can come anytime, but
my research is on climate and how that affects agricultural production essentially. We know that climate is changing, it's obvious, and that many agricultural activities will have to adjust to the changing climate, and that will affect what we now call climate smart agriculture. Climate smart agriculture because agriculture has to adapt to changing climate issues, and essentially that's what my research is on, modeling climate variables, rainfall distribution on various aspects of agriculture, livestock, crop production, fisheries and forestry.
Reduce the effect of shortage of rain on your farm.
Because the best is
the second project is a project that is based in Africa for African researchers. It's sponsored by DFID in collaboration with the Association of Commonwealth University and the African Academy of Sciences. It's a program that helps researchers in Africa to work in Africa. So I'm a research fellow from University of Ibadan, Nigeria, but I'm here in Ghana, carrying out my research in Kwame Nkrumah University as my base. And that opportunity wouldn't have been there if we didn't have SECO program. And I have other colleagues working from in other parts of Africa, East Africa, West Africa, South Africa. So it promotes South-South cooperation within Africa, unlike most postdoctoral programs that tends to take people out of Africa.
I'm in technology management, but with specialty in energy planning and system modeling. My research in SACO involves climate change, actually looking at low carbon development strategy in the power sector for West Africa to assess what level of emission there is and then what are the intervention steps that can be taken to reduce the emission over the coming years. The West African sub-region, looking at the indices of development, is one of the least developed energy consuming countries in the world. Going forward, everybody wants to develop. There's a need to increase the capacity for the electricity sector to support the economy in a sustainable manner. And based on that, I felt there will be the concern for global climate change. There would necessarily be increase in emission. It will explode. And what are the options in the type of emission that you're expecting? Research funding is not too encouraging in this part of the world. Researchers are not funded in the direction of particularly energy and climate change. So coming to SACO, it's helped me and it's given me confidence in being able to conduct my research. SACO is enabled me to be part of the global community. In the next couple of days, I'll be traveling to the US to attend a conference in the System Dynamics Society in Boston. And if SACO had not funded that, it would have been difficult for me to get such a funding to do that. And thirdly, you discover I'm in Kumasi. I'm not in Nigeria. I'm in an atmosphere where I'm devoid of the distractions that we normally have trailed this kind of work I'm doing, having to take care of the family, having to take care of so many things. But here I just concentrate, let me say about 80–90% of the time on my research. So SACO has really done that by giving me funding to be able to achieve that. I've had an article already accepted for publication under this project. I hope at the end of the whole project, probably be able to bring out 2 or 3 papers which will be published in international journals. What SACO had done is that it has invigorated my level of research and my ability to be able to do a deeper, I'll put a deeper level research than what I would have naturally done if I was not in SACO project.
For the Energy Center, Since we started our activities in 2006, Dr. Momodo is our first postdoc fellow. And from the expertise he has in the modeling of energy-related technologies and economics, we found his application to be very useful for our activities here because we lack in that area of expertise. Therefore, his coming here has been so useful to us. And we have two other students, master students, who are to understudy him to be very familiar with the modeling aspects of his research so that after he is gone, we can also work in this area successfully. He has introduced us to Obafemi Awolowo University, and also he has just made a contact with University of Ibadan so that we could establish a collaboration in the area of energy research. It is very important that we collaborate mostly with universities in sub-Saharan Africa countries because most of our activities has been with the universities in the north, that's European universities. We haven't had any relationship with African university as such. Our problems are similar. Therefore, if we can do collaborative research amongst African countries, we can replicate the results within our countries since the conditions are almost the same.
That's why it's one of the major things we are thinking, we hope, myself and my colleague in this, is that postdoc, you will discover, is not common in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, it's not. And coming here has opened a lot of room for such to take place. And if KNUST is able to take up this type of platform and develop on it, and not only KNUST, all the SACU operating universities, they take it up. It means that it will become very easy for South-South collaboration to take place instead of the South-North that prevails now. And if the South-South relationship in research and training begins to blossom, what will come out of it is that we'll have a deeper, more locally accepted output of research than we have presently.